Whether you're working at a warehouse right now or you're looking to work at a warehouse job, I'm going to tell you the top 5 tips that will allow you to survive or even excel working at any warehouse. Let's talk about it. Before we get started, don't forget to click the like, subscribe, and bell notification for the latest HE content. And also, because I know your time is valuable, I made sure to put the topics in the description below. That way, you can go directly to the topics that you want to know a little bit more about. Let's just start off with tip number 1. So tip number 1 is always bring your essentials. Always bring your essentials, which when I say essentials, that's the things that you need in order to actually get into the warehouse, and also some of the standard safety requirements that most warehouses have in place. So with tip number 1, one of your essentials would be your IDs. So bring your ID. You know, it's my FedEx, it's my Amazon. So bring your ID. Most times you won't be able to get past the security desk without your ID, or get through the gate in order to get inside without your ID, or you can't clock in, one of the two. So of course, as tip number 1, bring your essentials. Your ID is one. All right, so another essential would be your box cutter. So your box cutter, sometimes they have them in vending machines, which I know Amazon does, and you can get them for free, along with some other things that I'm about to show you. So your box cutter is needed because, you know, you got to open boxes, tear down boxes. You might need to cut the wrap for the pallets and stuff like that. So this is another essential tool that you need for any warehouse. So some people like to use these right here, which are earplugs, and I don't use them, but some facilities may be like real loud to where you might want to use them, and they may be a benefit for you. So if your warehouse offers these, then definitely pick them up if you think you need them. Another essential would be your vest. So your safety vest. Of course, part of your PPE. Most warehouses, if not all warehouses, require you to wear a safety vest. And it looks like this. This is in the bag, actually. I actually have some. I actually have one that's not in the bag. Let me see. But of course, it's the general typical safety vest. You know, they come in different sizes. You got your little reflectors on the back. So that's part of your PPE, and some places are real strict about taking those precautions. And last but not least, as part of your essentials, is your gloves. So this is another one that some people may not want to use, but I find it to be very essential. Very essential. I do not care to touch boxes with my hands. It's just one of those little pet peeves I have, that noise. Anyway, so I find this to be very essential. Like, I have to have gloves on every time I'm in the warehouse. And Amazon, because I worked there before, offers gloves and other essentials that I just showed you in these vending machines, which is pretty cool, and it's free. When I tell you I used to stack up on these gloves, I used to stack up on them. Like every shift I'm getting gloves. FedEx did not offer gloves, so you have to bring your own gloves, which is, I guess, cool, whatever. Tip number 2, and number 2 is so essential for me, like top of the list, and I didn't know how essential it was until I actually did what I'm about to show you. So tip number 2 is wear some good shoes. Like, wear shoe. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this shoe, right? Don't laugh at it. This shoe been through some things, but this is the shoe that I purchased just for warehouse work. And the reason why I purchased this shoe, this is a Skechers. The reason why I purchased this shoe is because it had memory sole in it. When I first started working at Amazon, I know my feet were hurting, but I just thought, you know, it was just my feet getting used to standing up for that period of time, which it really was, but I just didn't know how efficient I would become by just purchasing the right gear. Like, having the right gear is very important to maintaining or excelling in whatever you're doing. I had to make this a separate tip, because when I say just having shoes is one thing, but having the right shoes is going to allow you to maintain through your shift, because you're on your feet the whole time. And when I tell you that cushion, this memory sole was like, I don't know, like a gift from God, because I feel like I was kind of floating a little bit. You know, it wasn't putting as much pressure on my feet as it was before with my other shoes. So yeah, memory sole. Now, I'm not telling you have to buy another shoe, not necessarily. So what you also can do is just purchase these sole inserts. Just purchase these sole inserts. So, you know, you can find these at Walmart or Amazon or whatever, but these make a huge difference. I purchased these before I actually purchased the shoe I just showed you, and when I tell you, I can tell a difference. So you have the memory foam kind, you have the gel kind, and this right here is a memory foam. If you don't want to purchase any new shoes and you like the shoes that you're working in, when you put in some inserts that's made for the kind of work that you're doing, like warehouse work, standing up for long periods of time, these will really change your life, I promise you. So that's number 2. Buy some good shoes or purchase some good inserts. Tip number 3, which is also very important, is not to wear yourself out. Do not wear yourself out. In other words, pace yourself. Like, don't go in from the time you start working, from the time you clock in to the time you get off and you're at 110. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, your managers will love that. They will love that. I promise you. Like, you'll probably get promoted quicker. I don't know. If they see you hustling the whole time, if you don't get promoted, what they're going to do is they're going to move you after you finish this particular task, because you're moving so fast, because you're going, 100 miles an hour. They're going to put you somewhere else, because, of course, production-wise, when things slow down in a certain area, they're going to move you to another area so that they can finish whatever's lacking in the other area. So they'll say, hey, you're doing a great job, Hey, can I get you to work over here? They need some help over here. And you're going to go over there and still give 110 over there. And then, okay, that's finished. All right, so can I get you to go over there? We need some help over here. And then you're going to go over there and you're going to give 110. But what are you going to have after you get off work? What are you going to have, a week or a month or a year down the road? Like, what are you doing to your body, short term, that's going to affect you long term? So that's kind of how I look at it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to overwork myself. And this may sound a little selfish, but I feel that you can last longer if you don't go 110 the whole time. Like, you can last longer throughout the shift. You can last longer throughout just working in that position, period. So when I clock in, I try to pace myself. There may be some times where things pick up and you got to go a little bit faster. I get that. So, of course, I got to keep up with that particular demand. But at the same time, I'm not going to go 110 the whole shift. Like, it's not beneficial to me or my health. Just keep it on an even scale, because once they start seeing you do more and more, they're going to try to get you to do more and more longer for many shifts, for many days. So that's just my tip. You can, if you feel like you want to get in there and give it 110% the whole shift, go right ahead. Salute to you. There are people that do that, and I don't knock it. If that's what you feel like you want to do it. That's up to you. I'm just giving you my opinion on how to survive, like how to not burn yourself out. So tip number 4 is to bring snacks, and definitely make sure you bring some water. So most warehouses, at least the ones that I worked at, they'll give you this little starter kit that has like a water bottle inside. So I still have this old water bottle. They gave me another one, but I lost that one. So I got one from FedEx too. FedEx gave me one and I lost that one at the warehouse. But anyway, always keep yourself hydrated. Like that's number one. So they might have little places you can get water. Definitely utilize that. Keep yourself hydrated, because if you don't, it's not good for your health. It's not good for your health, and it's also, you pretty much slowing yourself down because your body isn't getting at least the minimum to keep pushing at the capacity that your body is pushing. So you want to definitely keep yourself hydrated. So as far as snacks are concerned, so say for instance you're working an 8-hour shift or a 10-hour, maybe even a 4-hour. Let's just say that any shift, and midway through that shift you might be like, okay, I'm tired, I'm bored, whatever, right? You might even say I'm hungry. So just for you to have some snacks on hand, like in your pocket, for women in your purse, you just grab one of those snacks, and it's kind of like a refresher. It kind of like refreshes your body, kind of gives you a little boost, and it's like, okay, let me keep pushing, because just something as little as eating some snacks can sometimes help you get through that shift. Now, the other reason why I say bring your snacks is, if you like me, like I was doing, go to the vending machine every time just to buy snacks, those snacks add up. Those snacks aren't cheap, and those little smaller chip bags that you're paying $1 for, like it adds up. So in my opinion, you'll save more when you buy your own snacks and bring them in. Just for those reasons, I would say those are essential things, because it can not only help you health-wise, being hydrated, putting something in your body, but it also could help you get through that shift, because that could be a little boost that you need to last a little bit longer until that shift is over with. All right, so tip number 5, you want to stay away from workplace drama, but at the same time, you want to be sociable. You want to make sure that you're speaking to your managers, building a rapport with your managers, even with your coworkers, because a lot of times you depend on your coworkers to help get the job done in your area. So you want to build a rapport with those people, but at the same time you want to make sure you stay away from the workplace drama, because the workplace drama could easily get you fired, because you can get into back and forth conversations. You can get into conversations that may lead into an argument. They may lead into even fighting. Like I've heard people fighting in the warehouse, which I haven't visibly seen. Point is, that's something you don't want to do, because you don't want drama at work. You just want to go in, clock in, do your job, clock out, get paid, and let that be what that is. Now, that's why it's very important that you don't get into these circles that are full of gossip, full of the extra, even with those people you may know in those circles, converse with them, but just know your limits. Now, along with tip number 5, you have to make sure that if you see a pretty lady, or if a woman sees a guy that she's attracted to, you have to make sure that it's kind of a delicate situation, because y'all may even end up going out, but at the same time you just don't know what that end result is going to be. So it could end well, you may get what you want out of that relationship, but sometimes it may not end well, and you got to see that person every day, at work. And so that tends to sometimes cause friction, and it may even blow up to where it could be something that could cause you to get fired. So you want to make sure it's a fine line. Also, when you even approaching those people, it's a fine line, because you don't know how that person's going to take your approach. And if that person feels uncomfortable, that person reports it to HR, and then boom, there you go, and some BS. They might even fire you for that. So I would say workplace is delicate. I'm not saying don't talk to anybody, don't get in a relationship, don't do any of these things, but at the same time, just be careful and, just try to stay away from the drama as much as you can, and that will allow you to last a little bit longer. So that concludes my top 5 tips to survive working at any warehouse. I hope this content helped somebody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of He Talks. And as I always say, I am he, Heinz Enterprise. Wow, that's amazing.